Hello? Hello? All right, so we did. Okay. Check, check. Mike. Hey, it's kind of low. Hello, hello, hello. Checking the mic, cause let's see this thing. No, what's going on? E Taylor, can you hear me? Okay, there you go. Mic back working. Peace, 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 man. This a live I was supposed to do the other day. I actually did it, but yeah, man, what's going on, people? Got a little late one for the day starting, but yeah, man, I was more or less I've been indulging in that situation with takeoff and looking at all the stuff that's all involved, all parties and stuff like that. And it's just a bad situation, man. And like I say, that's one of the things I've been looking at, as far as like with life insurance, the people you hang around with and stuff, man. And it's just like over time, man, it starts to be crazy, man, because a lot of people not thinking about their life and situations that happen to them, man. Even with this situation where Aunt T, shout out to him, was talking yesterday about the lady winning the lottery, and I was talking to him about that too. I'm like, man, if I had it to where I could hit the lottery like that, man, it would be so much uh to change my life, man. And I basically was telling them that I would have more or less took that money one lump sum versus getting the overall payout. And we was talking about the situation to where if you take that money and then the next, a lot of background noise, hopefully y'all hear me. And the next thing you got to do with it, and the next thing with that is figuring out what you want to do as far as the money is getting a trust. And I was telling him all kind of things you can do, man. Get a trust, get life insurance. I take about $2 million, put it in a policy for worth about 10 to 50 million between one of them, and put it all in the trust. So if something ever happened to me, I'm still good. I take all the money from the life insurance and put it in the trust too. And what's going on? I would take all that money, put it in the trust to where if anything happened with me, as far as with life, my life or something, if I passed, then I'd be good. He was gonna take the payout, far as with that, to instill that he's gonna live another 30 years and coop all that money. He was saying with him being the age he's at, you know, um, taking a 30 year, that means he's around in his 40s. So he said he felt comfortable with the money that he had, that he was going to live the next 30 years and go ahead and take the, I think it was like 80 million a year. And I'm like, which one would you do? Take the 80 million a year or get the I think it was like 980 million payout. So the 980 million, one lump sum, or you take the payout and do the interest, you might even get close to what he said was about close to 2.5 or almost $3 million over that time frame. What's going on. And when it come down to it, the best thing for a lot of people is to focus on what they really want to do with their money. I mean, because like I said, that situation with Takeoff, I've been looking at that thing real big because, it was a bad incident, and then all parties involved is shaky amongst that too. And it's to me, it's bringing too much light on situations that don't need to be put light on. And then it's making other situations, get light on them that shouldn't be too as well. So a lot of people, not only, I mean, not saying the least there about Takeoff and his death being a bad thing, but other parties are getting involved and other situations that are making, everything else bad within itself. And so, that's my take on that. Looking at that, because Houston, it's a lot of good that people do out there, and they kind of getting tied into the stuff too as well, and the people that's out there running wild and doing crazy. So it's like all parties involved, and then everybody who was there. I mean, even with the surveillance tape, the police already know. That's why I be looking at all these most of these channels with these internet guys, pointing fingers, saying this and doing that, and looking at what was it, like 10 and 30 second clips, or maybe even 10 minute or 5 minute clips, trying to be, law and order first 48. But the police already know who did it. They know who did it. They know the situation. But I mean, it's like I looked up. It's a lady by the name of Lotta Cash the Deso or something like that. She was a rapper that was signed to Lil Uzi Vert, and she got killed out there. Then you got a rapper, I think from up north. I think he's from either Jersey or New York. I want to say New York. Benny the Butcher. He got killed out there as well in Houston. And so it's like you having these situations where this could be the third rapper that just got killed out there. So it's putting more of a light into Houston. I mean, of course, what's the guy Mo3 got killed out in Dallas, not, but different area, but still. And like I say, just saying, at least me looking at all that stuff, I start, just like thinking like a lot of the lady that got shot from that straight bullet when she got shot. I not really sure which person did it, but they said it was a mistake because the guy was either trying to shoot in the air or shoot at the person that shot somebody. So innocent lives got involved in that situation, and luckily she survived. She didn't die, but still, it's like I look at the situation what Charleston White talks about, and he says the same thing. A lot of times the rappers and all that get the light on situations with that, but regular people, nobody's helping them. You know, most of the rappers, I say the least to be with Charleston what he says, because there are some rappers and some people. For instance, I was looking at a documentary in which Little Baby went to um, George Floyd's daughter birthday. You know, and he had his son, told his son come with him, and went there for George Floyd's daughter birthday, and it was a big thing. Of course, he gave some money and stuff. So, say the least, there's some rappers that actually help and move and be around in the community, and some that are not. You know, and to a degree, for certain ones that don't, you can't really blame them because when you make money, everybody feels to a degree entitled to that money because I mean, believe it or not, there's a guy I know that's in the industry. I know a few people, but mainly one guy he used to rap for a group called Trillville, and there was a situation where he was outside the club with somebody who knew him, from back in the day, and the guy gave him a look, but he took it the wrong way, and kind of went off on the guy and started, just talking about him bad, and I remember this and I remember that in front of the crowd of people. And so when it's like when you get done like that to people then it starts looking at a situation to where you don't want to deal with people. What's going on? And for the most part, you don't want to, kind of put people, kind of like in a certain space or kind of be around people. Because even with the guy now, um, he started a restaurant, and technically I haven't been there yet. I'm honest to say that, but I've been wanting to go to support. I got another friend who I got a friend who does real estate, and when he first started doing his real estate, I pretty much was like close to one of his first clients. Well, not first client, but close to, within a certain length of clients, as far as dealing with him, as far as I guess, well, as far as our friends and everything to deal with him, and just other people I know, anybody that do a business, most of the time, if I can, I'll try to support you. I'll try to, do stuff for you, shout you out. That's like on my YouTube, I always, sharing people's channel, doing little clips, trying to drive traffic over there. Like I always say, it's up to you to keep the people engaged once they get over there. And, more or less, I just, like to support the people. Especially like I say with a lot of these guys who are in the rap, they really, look at and love the support from the people, but then the hate that comes with it, a lot of people don't like it. So when it comes down to it, say the least, you going back and forth with this situation with a lot of people because a lot of people they tend to look at you in a different light or see you as something different or mainly just for money purposes. You know, but like I say, get back into the lottery situation, building financial wealth is not somewhat easy as people may seem because there's a lot of things that get involved in that and knowing a good little bit of information because you can wake up in the morning and have a whole bunch of money and most of the time you're just gonna spend it. That's why most people who get trust, most people who get certain inheritance and stuff like that, and if they was never told or taught how to manage the money, they'll lose it just as fast as they get it. I mean, take for instance, like I said, I was in a webinar. I'm sorry, it was a luncheon, but it was still like a Zoom call. And shout out to Alonzo, the lady who was on there, who was a trust attorney, and she was talking about how the guy got like I think 3.4 million dollars and spent it almost like in a year and a half because you know he was given the money, but the lessons wasn't really taught or really you know pushed towards him because dude went and got a car, got a Ferrari, got a place, bought out, was taking trips and all that stuff. And the level of knowing that money goes out and none comes back in, we all know that. I mean, investing money is key. Putting your money somewhere, letting it work for you. A lot of people just don't, get it or understand. So when it comes to that point, you're in a situation what's going on for you to feel bad or be bad, and it's like the real bad situation is not kind of knowing the end result. You know, getting money, spending it without bringing none back in. I mean, investing. Um, Aunt talked about venture capitalists, and that's like a good thing because you can help someone fund the business to the point where if their business take off, you influence that business. Of course, you're gonna get the rewards of it. With me, I have a lot of stuff that I want to do, but for the most part, I wouldn't tell it online because you know then it gets to a point where you can be stopped for us at business, um, and I wouldn't even have nothing in my name. For the most part, everything can be done through a corporation or everything be done different entities or different ways to where I know that the situation when I do put it out, it'll work 100%. It's done. It's been done before. It's been proven that this system works. So the face always makes the situation go farther. Most likable. People deal not with far as um, the things that work to a degree. Certain people don't deal with things that work. They deal with the look and the feel of it. And so that's why sometimes we, kind of get led astray for not being, understanding of what's the real goal or what's the real principle that's needed and pretty much doing what we need to be done. So for the most part, a lot of people, they stray behind on that knowledge, and that's what hurts them. Um, I try to dive into a lot of situations, learning, and right now I'm kind of slow on pulling the trigger with a couple of things. But you know, when my feet hit the ground, I just want to take off running. You know, I don't want to sit here and try to, go from trial and error as I'm doing the work. Learning from my mistakes. I want to learn from other people's mistakes. That was the thing. Heard about what what's his name? Ricky Williams. I think his channel is Ricky Williams TWT, and basically he was talking about you can learn from anybody, and a lot of people get to that mindset that they only can be taught this thing and they only can move this way, and when it boils down to it, they just feel like they're more in control with things, just doing it their way, whether it's right or wrong. But when it comes down to it, you have to have a sense of pride about yourself and knowing that when you're doing something, you know, do your research. A lot of people they fail from a lack of knowledge. You know, let's say I wanted to cut hair. I jump straight out, start cutting hair, give me a barbershop, open up a barbershop, put all this money invested into a barbershop. Everything's running good. I got all these guys, my homeboys work for me. Then I get shut down because I ain't got no barber license. I didn't know that that was the thing. I just thought you just get some clippers and cut hair, and that's what you need to do. No, it's more to that. You know, say the least. I know a dude, prime example, wanted to be a truck driver. Went and got a truck, started driving the truck. Come to find out, he needed authority to go state to state. He was flying state to state with no authority. You know, it didn't have the proper insurance, didn't proper have the proper decals on his vehicle. All it took was that one time, shut the whole business down, making lots of money. Dude was making, upwards to 20,000. I think he said it was like close to anywhere from 15 to 20,000 a month. Lucrative business, shut it down. And then adding on to that, what he was doing, let's say the situation pans off where he was making that 20,000. In his business, he was spending more than he was making. Once again, it goes back to that knowledge. He didn't take the time to figure out how I'm gonna spend this money, what I'm gonna do with this money. All he seen was 50,000 in the bank. All right, let me go get a new car. Okay, I'll make that back next month. Turn around next month came. All right, I want to go buy this. Same situation. He goes and buys something expensive, and then turns around, put himself in another hole. And when he puts himself in another hole, guess what that does? He goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and so deep into the point in which he can't even get out of it. And just, I mean, for me, crazy saying the least, he didn't have no money saved for his vehicles. He didn't have no emergency account set up to where if anything happens on the emergency, let's say the lease said the motor blows in his truck, he's been putting money aside to take care of that. But let's say emergency happens to where, you know, he gets locked up. He needs to bond out right now. They even go a little bit less than that. Let's say, to a degree, he has one account that got froze because of some suspicious activity. I had that done to my account one time. Froze all my assets for a whole week. And if I didn't have that other bank account with money in there, I would have been in trouble. You know, of course, you can call people, ask people for money and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, who's teaching you this stuff? One of the main things I learned as a young guy growing up, um, I mean, they say this not to be offensive to my family or certain people. I was raised by my grandma. She was old fashioned. You know, Her motive was to go to work and pay bills and save and do certain things. I had an aunt, she took an approach to where she wanted her own. She started her own business and was working. She went to school for an accounting, so she knew about money. She knew how to save money. She knew how to do certain things. And it was crazy because as I was coming up, I remember her having that store until I got older. Then she didn't have the store. And the thing of it is, it wasn't that she pretty much had money problems. It wasn't that, certain things. It was entities involved to a degree, just say the least. But she ended up having to give up her store. And the thing of it was, she made good money. She had money set aside. She was good, you know. And when you have money set aside and you're moving like that, you're able to build certain things. When one door closes, another one opens, and that's what she was able to do. Start something else. You know, my uncle, same thing, married, both of them married. He was having his main business, and he had a pesticide business on the side, to where one business was dedicated to pay for bills in the house, and the other business was dedicated to pay for future goals and have a savings and do things this way. And a lot of us, we don't have that mindset. As soon as the money come in, we spend it out. As soon as we make it, just as fast as we make it, we spend it. And I was looking at my finance. The number one thing I was looking at my finance, the more or less when I started looking at my accounts, that I was spending money more recklessly, and I had to start figuring out, okay, what am I spending it on? Because at some points, you'll wake up Monday morning, everything you did on the weekend is taking a toll by Tuesday. Monday it don't really affect for the most part, but Tuesday you see the difference in your account. If you got 5,000 in your account on Friday and Monday morning you wake up with 1,200, and you haven't even bought nothing too big or significant that you can actually shows the money is worth, then pretty much you got a problem. Because there are some people that go to the club. They will literally go to the club and spend about $1,200 at the bar. I know this young guy. He does it not every weekend, but close to that. He loves going to the club. He loves buying drinks. He loves buying people drinks. That's his thing. He like balling. $10 a shot or something. Beers. I think I haven't been to the club in so long. Last time I was in the club, it was $5 for a bill, $10 for a shot, or $8 shot. So sometimes they will have a $5 shot depending on what club you went to. Some clubs will have $2 shots. Some clubs will have dollar beers. But that was always the main equivalent. And it was to the point where, you know, me and my friends, we would always drink before we get to the club and then get a couple of drinks there. Then we're cool for the night. By the time the night wind down, we sipped on our little drink, babysit, talked around, kicked it, then went home. Or possibly got us something to eat, then went home. You go to the bar. I've seen people, I think one time, I think it was a section I had got. I spent 150 for a $50 bottle of Patron. And I was like, dang, what's going on? And that was crazy. I'm like, man, I could have sit here, bought 3 bottles and been at the house. So it's like a lot of times, I was getting sections, I would just pay for the section. But it was to the degree they started knowing that they would make more money by promoting buying bottles for the section. So if I would get a bottle for 150, it's better than trying to charge me 60 or $100 for the section. And then some of them, they figured it out because they were trying to get you to, if you buy a section, you have to buy a bottle. So that threw people off. So the best thing to do is just to tell people to buy a bottle. because 9 times out of 10, if you bought one bottle, you're gonna buy another bottle, you know. And then you have a section that's next to you buying bottles, which a lot of people don't know about the comps that come with the club. You will have some guy that they know or celebrity or some come there, have bottles in their section, and people are over there with them, and just seeing them spend money. Prime example. One time, um, we was in the section with who was a Crime Mob, like when it was ways years back. They had came back out and dropped the album, after they thing when they was hot during the early 2000s, and I think it was like around 2010 or so ish. My friend was heavy in the promotion, so went to the club with him, um, and just say the least, they had them in there and they had us sitting in the section. So they was like, yeah, all the bottles and everything is over here for them, but y'all can partake into it too. So we all chilling it, they pouring up and they drinking and acting like they going crazy and stuff. And so they was like, yeah, man, hit this and start laughing. And so I'm looking, I'm like, well, I seen a bit on the table there all the time. And, I ain't seen nobody really do nothing to it and then so get there, pour it up, and they wilding out. Come to find out, it was just cranberry. The only thing that they really gave them was some, I think it was a bottle, like 2 bottles of wine or something. And I was like, I don't drink wine, so I told them to pour because I thought it was liquor mixed in that drink or something, and it just cranberry, straight cranberry. And I was sitting there laughing. I'm like, so a lot of these guys be flexing like this because like all the other like big name celebrities I was kicking it with, nobody went by their drink. Like when I was in a VIP with Luda one time, Luda had his stuff either in his hand or he would have his personal people buy his drinks. Like if he bought bottles, nobody could mess with certain bottles because that was for the main artist. You know, who else I was around? CeeLo and them. Same thing with them. They had a certain area to where you couldn't even go over there around their drinks because back in the day people used to put stuff in people's drinks and stuff, even with men, even the women, just to see them and their reactions and stuff. So it was kind of crazy. But getting back to the main thing, like I say, with as far as the money and the mindset, a lot of people don't really understand like what are they doing with their money. Like I say, the least, if you hit that mega or you hit that Powerball, would you really take the money and invest it in something, or would you just take the money and just kind of spend it like crazy? That's what most people end up doing because the lack of knowledge. Nobody's taught them to save money. Nobody's taught them to put money for a rainy day. Like I said about the guy who had the truck situation, he lost out because he didn't do his homework, find out he needed authority to drive that truck, even though he didn't need CDLs, but he still needed authority. When you do out of state, everybody, all parties involved got to get paid. The state got to get paid. The next state got to get paid. So you got to get certain, excuse me, you got to get certain certificates and what they call decals on there to let you know you're an interstate, inner and out of state carrier to do the job. And a lot of people, they kind of neglect on that stuff because it costly. You know, it ain't nothing to go get a LL. I mean, it ain't nothing to go get a business name through the state. Fill out some paperwork. There you go. It ain't nothing to make a website. You know, with all this stuff now. Back in the day, I remember I was writing code for a website, and it was like literally one of the craziest things. Me putting code in for the website, even though it came back and they turned around and had this new software to where whatever you write in, then the code will script up, and you just make sure the code is agreeing to what you say. Because even if the code is right, one little comma, a period, a space will throw the page off. So you have to learn that. But nowadays, everything is just template ready. You can just put your information in, put your pictures in, template already popped up, boom, there you go. Wix has it big. You have other sites that do the same thing. What's going on? And when it comes down to it, you literally have everything. Like if you wanted to build a website right now, let's say if I wanted to build Sheet We Hear website, I would go to Wix, free, fill out everything I need to, like the name of my podcast up there, Sheet We Hear, turn around, put down tabs, what I want, the home tab, pricing, for something. I mean, what's not pricing? Let's go with merchandise. If I sell things, um, live podcasts where I can show all my live podcasts, the videos, you know, uh, let's say put a tab up for a community to where I can talk about events, talk about things I'm doing, all that for free. And like I said, it's self-explanatory. I was looking to open up a nonprofit, and I went in straight to YouTube. YouTube gave me a video about how to start a nonprofit. Took me through the process. Took me how long it should take. It takes a lot longer than a regular business because there's a lot of things that you get tax breaks for, and they want to make sure you're doing the right thing on things. So looking at that, you know, a lot of people, I'm doing my research before I take on this approach. I mean, I didn't just go down and say, man, I want to start a nonprofit. Let me grab my money, go down here, fill out this paperwork online, send it through. They send it back to me. Everything's cool. Got the nonprofit. I'm rolling. Next thing you know, somebody run up on me. What's it called? 501c3? Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Now I got to go back, put the paperwork in for that. Boom, got that going. Then turn around. I'm moving, doing my thing. I made $1 million with my nonprofit. Turn around with the nonprofit, I put it all in my pocket. I'm gone. I'm balling. I'm doing this and that. Guess what happens? The IRS comes in and investigates and see that I have a nonprofit. And for those who know, with a nonprofit, you don't make profit. So if the company makes $1 million, that nonprofit, you don't make $1 million. The company makes $1 million. Now, what your nonprofit was set up for? Well, it was set up for, let's say, kids. Show where the money you donated to kids, because you have $1 million on the table. You just bought a Ferrari. What is the Ferrari for? Oh man, it's to show kids you can make it. They're gonna write a little line. So what is this big house for? What is the nonprofit for that? Easy way of doing that. A lot of people don't know. You can buy your house and use your house as your office. But a lot of people don't know that with their business, you can write off a lot of stuff that you do with your house as far as your business. But to a degree, personally, I say, because I've been researching a lot of stuff with business, I would only do that from the aspect of after I've established my nonprofit and I did all this with my banks and everything. Then I come back and do my house, my residence as a nonprofit, dealing with my nonprofit because I have like an office in the basement, so I can use 40% of my house from my basement. I can write off my light bill, especially if I use a lot of lights, I can write that off on my it's plenty of ways of doing things. A lot of people I've been looking and dibbling dabbling I've been seeing, but a lot of people don't know. That's why I say going back to doing the research, doing your homework, you know. And first off, let's be clear. I would not, if I'm looking to get loans from a bank, I would not be putting my residence on my business license because pretty much for the most part, you would have to have set up a lucrative business to the point where you're showing money coming in for the banks to deal with you. If your business just starting off, from researching, from listening to people, from talking to people, listening to different podcasts, they always say the bank is going to consider if you can't put money towards the business, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be harder for you. If we give you money, that you're going to actually be putting money towards your business because you have a residential property that you're using. But then it also comes down to what is your business for and what does it do? Now, if your business scales, if you're into printing and certain things of that nature where you have the machines there, you showed the budget where you buy things and you paid and put it. Once you have that account open, more likely the bank will give you a loan. But if you just open it up and then just start working from a certain degree, they're not going to give you any money. I mean, just saying the least. I've talked to people that have done that, and I've talked to people that haven't done that because they knew, certain ways around. It's like a hack, you know. And to a degree, I've just been hearing a lot of people talking about this. So I'm like, as far as right now, I'm gonna put it into work and see what it's about. Because like I said, I try to do more research on things, figure out, ask questions, because when I come in, like I said, I want my feet on the ground running. I don't want to bump my head and make a mistake and then come back and say, man, how come nobody didn't tell me that? By talking to people in this field or in this industry that's doing the work, paying for consultations, paying for, webinars, paying for these different mentor programs. Some of them are cheap. I found one mentor program, this business I want to get into. It was like $100. And people might say, well, $100 is a lot. I'm like, considering asking the questions, what are they offering? $100 is reasonable. Like I said, there was this program which I'm gonna bring up a little later, and I hope people can get in on this. And it's actually an app that has it about paying your house off. I talked to Alonzo, me and him discussed this, and we both gonna try to bring it out and help people. I put my information into the in there, just the trial, and it basically broke down. I'll be able to pay my house off in 11 11 years and 3 months from today. 11 years and 3 months, and I've only been in my house in 4 years. So it's basically telling me that, and that's only from the exact amount in which I bought my house from. I ain't even put the amount that I we're currently at now. They're just from straight amount from when I bought the house. So I said, okay. And with this app, it gives you a breakdown in which it lets you break down your interest rate to where it tells you certain times to pay it off to cut, I guess, the interest on the rate. Because I was talking with Alonzo and some other guys, and they were basically saying that because I done got so deep into it, I found out that the interest is accrued daily on your home when you have a loan. And, you know, some might be like $30 a day. So if you got to pay $700 in interest, divide that by 31 days, and pretty much that's what you're paying per day in interest on your house. Now you can kind of break that and pay every 2 weeks, in which we talked about. It might disturb the interest to where instead of accruing that daily, the interest change because it goes off the whole number. So if I owe 200,000 on my house, the interest is going off that 200,000. But on the second week, I pay $1,000 off. So you have to retract it. And once you retract that, it's not longer 200,000. So there's a 199, 190, let's see, 199, 99 thousand, whatever, that you got to pay on it, and there you go. And so with a lot of people, like let's say with two, I pay two. The second week I pay 2,000 or something like. Let's break it down into 3 weeks or 4 weeks, 4 weeks before the monthly payment is due. Say with a $200,000 house, I pay $2,000 a month. Then I turn around the first one, I put that one down, and that's 190, 99, 190. Man, I'm having a brain freeze. I can't even see it if I ain't writing it down. Let me get my pen out real quick. But basically, you understand what I'm saying. And let's say with 109, 199 uh thousand the first week, and then the second 192,000. The third week 194,000. I mean 197,000, and then going into the last week in which you got to pay the full amount, and that's $2,000. You at 195,000. 195,000, and you've knocked out $5,000 of payment. Now, them first three, they're towards the principal. So, oh, I'm sorry. So, no, you at 197,000, and then by the third week, that's 197,000. Now, the fourth week is your initial payment. That's towards the principal. So, with the principal of the loan, you got to pay majority interest over principal. So, that third week, you're going to be paying 997,000 and let's say 50. 997,050, because you're only putting 50,000 towards the principal, but I mean you're only putting 50,000 towards the interest, but you're putting 3,000 towards the principal. So when the interest comes back that next month, instead of paying 50 at the end of the month out that 2,000, you might end up paying 60 out of it, because the interest rate changes depending on how much of the principal you put down. And see, like I said, it's some math and a lot of stuff to a degree. It's laugh because it's boring. But me, my thing is, I like saving money. I don't like overpaying. So I'm gonna do the work to kind of see the best benefit that benefits me. You know, if I gotta look at a 2 hour boring seminar, I'm gonna try to make it as interesting as possible. Drink coffee, whatever I gotta do to stay up to look or listen, because this is gonna save me a whole lot of money, longevity and long term. I was showing my wife most of these videos I was looking at, and she was like, "Can you just look at it and tell me?" And I was like, "Hey, this is money. Like this is what we need to survive." So I'm looking at it, but saying the least though, man, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. You know, like I say, start looking at your finance. If you want to start, this is the best time to start a business. I keep saying this. This is the best time to buy a house. You know, right now it's bad because of the market is up and the houses are inflated. But this is the thing: compared to what you paying now for rent, weigh your options on buying. Because I guarantee most people that are renting right now, I know a guy he was paying $2,500 a month for his house. Now he's paying $2,500 a month for his rental property because he sold his house at such a high rate. He made so much money off of it. But when he came back to come back into the market to buy, the houses were so inflated and what he was looking for was technically not available. So in the things now, if he finds a house that's available for him, guess what he's got to do? He's got to break his contract with his rental. Nine times they might want all the money from the rental, or they might want 3 months or something, 2 months or whatever. But that's the thing. So, like I'm saying now, do your research, do your research, do your research. If you're gonna buy a house, do your research. See what the market is. See what the interest rate is. Look at warranties on the house just in case something breaks down. Look at having a savings outside escrows and all these other things that people save for houses, because something will break, and if it's not covered, you got to come out of pocket. But it's a whole lot better to take that money. And personally, I'm just gonna say this: if you're paying $2,000 a month for a house for a rental, and you turn around and get a rental for 50, I mean, get a buy a house for $1,500 a month, take that $500 a month and put it to the side, put it in an account. A lot of people can't budget like that real good. If you can't do it that way, the best thing I can say to you to do is go get some of these apps. They have apps that literally, I will start writing them down and put it in. They have apps that you pay every month like a bill. I keep thinking of Strike, but it's another name of this app. But you would literally, it's like you're borrowing money from the app, which you're not borrowing anything. You're just paying the money into the app to boost your credit because it's like a line of credit. It shows on your credit that you have a line of credit with with this company, and you're paying this line of credit, and you're paying it monthly, and it only benefits you when you're paying the money. See, with the company, it benefits them because they're going to take your money, they're going to flip it in the market or do something. But in the end, they get that interest off your money. And once they give you your money back, they have that interest for themselves. So it's a win win situation. It helps them out, build interest off your money, which they take and keep their business afloat. And with you, it builds your credit and it helps you in the long run. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put that app or that website later for people to look up, do your research, see. I'm always looking up from the Better Business Bureau. I'm always looking up Google reviews, from the worst comments to the most nicest comments, because you do know people pay companies pay people to add comments. I've had several people reach out to me, family and friends, like, hey, do a good comment for my business, do this for my business. And I'm like, why? And when I hit them with, okay, I do it, I do it, I do it, and I don't do it, they get the message. I'm not gonna lie. If your company suck, it just suck. Now, if it is okay, I give you a comment, but I would, gladly say, hey, they okay. Do your research. And that's all I'm gonna say about that, man. Until next time, shout out to everybody that came through. Once again, I'm all about growth. I'm all about trying to help people get to the next level. And also with personal knowledge itself, man. Figure out what that means for you. You know, don't get fooled into any situations. Don't put yourself in situations that you can't get out of. You know, have manage of your emotions. Don't let things go too far in certain situations. Don't lose your cool. Have patience. Stay calm. Have an understanding. You only got one life to live, so don't waste this life and don't take this life for granted. You know, to a degree, I'm on my weight journey again, losing some weight. Slow down on my working out, but I got to get back working out and stuff. And also business. Looking, I just did the video. I'm actually waiting on my projector for my daughter. Once I get my projector, I'm gonna go ahead and draw out my plans and make my first rug. I think I'm gonna make a sheet we here rug first, but after that, I'm gonna do some shoes and stuff like that. Once I get everything down pack and I start doing it pretty good, I know the kids will fall in line and start doing it as well. But oh yeah, vending machine's still on the way. But till next time, I'll holler at y'all. We here, and like always, you know what I say, we gone. And shout out to Underrated. Um, hey dog, I just went live just to check my StreamYard. It's working today, so I'll be over there later on. All right, I'll talk to everybody later. We gone.